Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm just doing a quick update on my project Maximum Recoil Glock, and in order to my post earlier we'll see that I actually managed to break the valve knocker. Unfortunate, but luckily fire support, which is local to me, had a couple in stock, so I've ordered myself one. I also got myself a steel valve knocker lock as well. So basically all of the internals, including the hammer here, because I'd broken the hammer previously and replaced it with a steel one, so it was the only steel component in here. I've now gone in and replaced the rest of the components with steel, and I figured while I was at it, I might as well replace the actual chassis. So this is now running a Garda steel chassis in here. So I shouldn't now have any more problems when it comes to the actual trigger performance and the hammer, and it basically being able to function as intended. So far we're looking good, but I did actually notice a bit of a problem. So another problem that has come to light, and it was when I was like, you know what, I wonder if fitting this new frame at the back will have cleared up some of the issues that I was having with this other slide. So I went to put it on, and then it doesn't want to go on. So if you ever get something like this, then you basically don't force it. You just need to take it off and just have a look and see what's going on. And what I noticed is actually this edge, just where my finger is here, has actually bent upwards ever so slightly. So instead of it, it's going to be very, very hard to see, but just here on my finger, there's a tiny bit where it's basically the slides come back, it's impacted here, and it's bent one of these runners a tiny little bit, and that's actually enough for this slide now not to work. So all I'm going to do is I'm now just going to run a file over here just a few times, just to take that burr away, and we're going to see if that fixes the problem. So there we go, all done. I doubt you guys will actually be able to see it. I can barely see it. But let's see if it's actually had the right effect. So let's try and get this on. So actually still a bit tight. So that's the thing. It's just not worth. So we'll quickly check that so there's nothing wrong at this end. So everything is still aligned in there. So that is fine. So the problem is still definitely just at the front here. Okay, couple more passes with a file. So I kind of didn't realize that when it's impacted and it's bent it up at the top, it also bent it down a tiny bit underneath. So I've straightened that out, hopefully. There you go, that's how it's supposed to be. Right, so it's got the spring misaligned. That's a pretty normal thing to do. Hopefully, no, still very tight. Too tight. Quite tight. Too tight. Yeah, not going to do that. Make sure that I haven't messed up the fitment on this one as well. So that still seems fine, but it still has an inclination to almost stick at the back of travel. So there were some little plastic bits that came with the spring, so I think it's something to do with the spring just getting caught up. So I will have a look at that, and it seems to have happened a bit more since I've lubed it. So maybe that spring prefers to like run dry, otherwise because it's flat coils, maybe they're getting a little bit sticky. I don't know. As with all these things, guys, you know, I will use this until the next part breaks on it, and then I will upgrade whichever part that is. So like I said, this other slide, I'm going to wait till the steel barrel comes, and then I'm going to then actually look to get this working properly and see if I can get it on here. But I must say, like, all of this has made me want to do a dedicated CO2 Tokyo Marui build. I don't see why not. ultimately. I mean, there's going to be a lot of parts that you get that are going to be aftermarket. It may end up slightly better just to build the pistol from scratch. You can do that. So yeah, it's actually pretty simple as well. I mean, when I obviously changed the hammer unit and stuff like that, I did it on my lunch break at work, and it took like 10 minutes, so I still had time to eat my lunch as well. So it doesn't take long to do, and there are plenty of really good videos. Rogue System 087 has got like a 40-minute video, so I'm not going to do one because his video is excellent, and that's what I tend, before I knew how to do it, that's what I always used as a guide of how to do it, because he explains it so well. So if you're looking to figure out how to take your trigger out and your hammer unit, just look for Rogue System 087's videos on it, and they are really clear and really easy to follow. But yeah, so after breaking a couple of parts, I've gone in, I've replaced a couple of parts. Let's see what the next thing to break is going to be. Obviously, having that frame bend a tiny bit, well, maybe that's going to be the next thing to go. So maybe the next upgrade for this is going to be some sort of steel internal frame at the front. Who knows? But we're not going to do anything until something gives out. So yeah, I'm going to keep running CO2 through this. A few people have commented and said that actually, that the Stratos blowback unit by Volante is not made for CO2, and I'm 100% aware of that. I wish they did make a CO2 version. I wish they would come to market and say, yep, we've made one and we're certifying it for CO2. Well, they haven't with this one, so I'm doing this all at my own risk, and anyone else that does it, you're also doing it at your own risk. But it is incredible. The best recoil I've felt it in a pistol. So yeah, I mean, the temptation for me is actually to I don't have a Gen 4, and I really like steel slides on pistols, and CO2 just seems to be the way to drive them. It seems to be so much better at it. So I have a balance now between, I really like this 34, but the 34 is basically like the heaviest slide that you can get. I could go for a 26, and that's going to be a very short, very light as far as steel goes, slide. But also, to be honest, I'm torn between a 17 and a 19 and what I should make into a Gen 4 out of steel. Because I think if you've got a steel hammer unit and a Stratos blowback unit with a steel slide and things like that, yes, it may break, but it's going to be a lot of fun. There was someone else that had commented and said that they've been using a Stratos blowback unit with CO2 for ages and it's never given out. And yes, excellent. Touch wood, it won't. And I hope that mine will also hold up to the pressure. Hopefully, Volante have over-engineered it and they're just erring on the side of caution. Who knows? But we're finding out, and ultimately, by doing things like this, it shows that the manufacturers and stuff that people do want this. People want like the maximum amount of recoil that you can get out of a gun. If I am limited to 17 shots per mag, but each one has got like ridiculous recoil, then you know what? I'm at the point in my sort of airsoft career kind of thing that I want that. I'm not so interested. I don't care about 1,000 round HPA drum mag tapped into a Glock or a high capper. It just doesn't get me. I've seen people, with there's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. And this is one of the key things. It's why I love airsoft so much, because you get all of these different people doing the same thing but in their own way. And whereas one person will be like, look, I've got a high capper. It takes M4 mags. I can put in 300 round mag, 300 BB M4 mags, HPA adapted, like just keep pulling the trigger all day. And actually you get someone like me who's like, well, actually I'd rather have, a 1911 with 8 shots in or 7 shots that kick like it, where each time I pulled the trigger, I was like, everyone's doing the same thing. We're all running around there like idiots, shooting each other, having a laugh, having loads of fun. But it's just the way that we choose to do it. And, I've always been one for like, yes, let's like maximize that recoil. damn, these CO2 mags have like, they're making me think again about what is possible with regard to recoil. Yeah. Anyway, this was just an update to say, yeah, I've already gone in and fixed it. So hopefully, when I'm playing next week, I'll actually be able to take this out in game and actually experience it in the fight, which is going to be. I can't really guess what it's going to be like, but you know, I've shot people with gas pistols. I literally did that last night. But yeah, one that kicks so hard, one that feels so real. That's going to be a different experience, I think. Looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. And I will obviously feedback and let you know if it breaks itself again, because it might. But that's it. If it breaks, we will make it stronger. We will replace those broken parts with stronger parts, and then test it again and keep going until we have a gun that will run CO2 and just will not break. That's what I'm aiming for. That's what I want to do. Whether you've got to do it as a ground up build or whether I should just keep on modifying this one, I don't know, you know. Anyway, guys, thanks for spending your time with me. Have a great evening, day, weekend, and yeah, I'll see you on the next video.